are positioned to understand what the truth is. The truth is there is harassment going on. And as long as we defend why we're harassed, this will never change. It will never change. So, as it relates to the data in the schools, what you need in the school system, you need people who will continue to push young people to be respectful, that will not allow them to have excuse for their environment, and motivate them, educate them, because the educational system, I love education, but it is flawed. When you have teachers who went $90,000 in debt to be creative, to make light bulbs go off, you have them teaching for 4 months to a test that is designed by people who sit in a room and do absolutely nothing. You have teachers teach to test for 4 months, you have students who test for 4 months, and you want to make education exciting. And so now the system creates dropouts. And then the dropouts, because they can't get paid, they go create crime. And then the law enforcement has to do something. The judicial system has to do something. But it all started at the root. And what we got to do, we got to deal with stuff at the root.
We're going to get to the comments. I just want to let everyone know about the time. And I just want to be respectful. No, it's not yours. I'm talking about the entire event from 6 to 8. And we want to be respectful of your time. So if you have to leave, if you designate this time to 8 and you have to leave, feel free to exit if you have to go. For those that wish to stay and have this dialogue, please stay. We won't be too much further, too much longer, but we do want to hear your comments and these type of things, and we will have follow-up, so I just want to make sure that is okay. Okay, so is anyone else? Just a gentleman behind. Okay, he's going to talk about opportunity.
Okay, so what you guys have been hearing about is opportunity maps that came out from Montgomery County Public Health, which basically measured, they looked at health, education, housing neighborhood quality, economic health, transportation, mobility, and various variables underneath that to kind of look at where you have opportunities to support, like where within the community is there an opportunity, and where is there like opportunity for, where there's like last opportunity, which doesn't indicate, you know, it's not like a trap, but it is like extra pressure that you have to go through. You have to work harder to make it to get out. And what was really telling about this document, and if you go to Montgomery County Public Health, this is on there, or if you sign up, we can send you the link, is that the west side is primarily in a white zone, meaning zero opportunity, you know, and I'm a sociologist, and so if you're looking at it from a structural perspective, that's known as like structural violence, which means that there's a difference between what can be there and what is there, and that gap is creating pressure, it's creating stress, and to kind of back up what Dion was saying, it's like, that's the type of pressure, like it's not the police violence, but it's all the underlying stress that like when the police violence happens, that is that match that can explode. And so I think part of the challenge in the conversation for Dayton is to look at like why is there such a very degree of opportunity within Dayton, especially when the west side is primarily 98% black. And so like those are some of the structural issues that need to be discussed as well.
Thank you.
I would like to just interject that I was born and raised in Dayton. I was born at Miami Valley Hospital, April 9, 1961. I was 7 years old when Martin Luther King got shot and killed. Prior to that, I wasn't really sure about all the marches and things. I was too young. But as years progressed, I began to see things happening in Dayton. And we have a situation of corruption and favoritism, not just in Dayton, but all of the nation. When I saw the latest news brief about the officer who stood on the hood of the car in Cleveland and shot 15 times after there were already 130 some odd shots stopped, and 2 people, unarmed, 2 black people, unarmed, he stands on the hood of the car and shoots 15 times into the windshield but his attorney claims that he was what am I trying to say? Self-defense, that he was scared. To me, when you're scared, you go the other way. You don't stand on the hood of the person's or people's car that you're afraid of. And again, corruption and favoritism has got to go. And I wonder if our judicial system and the law is willing to stand up and say, you know what, we are full of a lot of corruption and we need to fix this thing. Something that's happened to our, where they talk about to serve and protect. I'm not sure who they're serving and who they're protecting. I talked about a 12-year-old in Cleveland also that was shot to death. These officers are getting off on technicalities of self-defense and acquittal. We need our society, our legal society, to step up and own up to the fact that you are exhibiting favoritism. I got another situation, I'm not going to take a lot of time, that happened here locally, that was on the news. We had police officers sheriff deputies that were texting. Some of y'all probably don't remember that news brief, texting racial messages to each other. And I found that to be so redundant and ridiculous. These are people that we expect to protect us, but this is what they think about us. And I'm going to quote it. It's on TV. It's nothing, something y'all passing on an activity. It says, what's the difference between an apple and a black person? They both came from trees. Now these are uniformed officers, deputies, and I've got a problem with where Sheriff Plum says that I'll be able to save 3 of their jobs, but I'm going to terminate the other 2. And I'd like to hear why I'm going to say 3 of theirs instead of terminating all 5 of them. When they all 5 of them committed the same crime. He says because they were truthful and they told the truth and came forward, but the other 2 tried to cover up and say they were hacked, their homes were hacked and things like that. I had a problem with that. I'm not sure if Sheriff Plummer had the authority to save and terminate either job. So what I'm saying is that somewhere there needs to be a higher power that should have stepped in. This was national, this went all over the nation, and we need to recognize favoritism and corruption I should say, has got to go.
First off, I just want to say to you, I remember you when I was at Central State, and I was on hard times. I was homeless. I asked the Lord, I said, change me by any means necessary. So I was stripped of everything that I had for him to clean me up. And those people like me that came across my path on my way of change. I just want to say thank you for all the many things that you did for me and my change. But I was one of the protesters in Cleveland this past weekend, and we weren't violent at all. I was at a demonstration for Tamir Rice to put pressure on the prosecutor, and my phone started to blow up. I was getting calls and texts that that officer got found not guilty. And like he said, 137 shots, how do you justify that? The 2 blacks that were murdered were dead before that guy even got up on the hood of the car. For shots to come in on top of the head, it had to be from him. And exactly like you said, if you're scared, you go the other way. Everything that's going on with these blacks being murdered, not killed, that's the way to kind of downplay it by saying they were killed. They were murdered. They were executed. So pretty much the system lets me know how they feel about me as a black man. You know, and the system's been playing against me for a long time. I grew up in Cleveland Projects on the west side and then moved to the east side and it was no better without my father. And I found my father to be a homosexual drug addict with AIDS, HIV positive. And that wore on me for a long time. And now I'm on the other side of the playing field. I was a lost soul at one point, but now I'm found. And while I'm here, I would love to create a bridge. I see he's left already, but if anybody can help me locate that guy, I would like to work with him. And I would love to work and we can educate our young people. We can have Black History Month every month. With me and you, we can teach them what they're not learning in school. We can teach them how we can clean up our own neighborhoods. With your money and mine and through Black Lives Matter Miami Valley, we can buy our own paint. We can clean up our own neighborhoods. We can do whatever we can and stay right here. We don't have to leave our neighborhood. Nothing's wrong with where we live at. Whenever we try to leave and stay somewhere else, it's going to be integrated for a short period of time, and we're going to be out there by ourselves because they're going to leave. So we don't have to follow them no more. We can stay right where we at. You know? And that's all I have to say.
Is there anyone else? I just want to make sure we get everyone in the audience an opportunity to stand with me.
You know, I grew up on the west side of Chicago, so, but the young man is expressing as far as his treatment with police. I've been through that a lot. I've been pulled over when I get into a city. I've been pulled over here, and I'd say 80% of the time when I was pulled over, it was a company. You know, so I can understand the anger. You know, but at the same time, I can't let that cause me to be like the people that I have an issue with. You know, so, you know, I keep hearing things about the system and things in place and how we have a failed system. And I agree with that. You know, but I believe it's a failed system because man has his hand on it. The only thing that kept me from being like my brothers, you know, who are in the penitentiary, you know, was some type of God understanding. And you know, when you mention God, people go, oh, you know, there you go, and all that. But I can really be honest and say, if somebody had interjected in my life and says, wait a minute, you know, there is a higher power, there is a higher authority, then I know I would have ended up incarcerated instead of now going into the prisons and ministering and teaching to the inmates there. You know, instead of, you know, going to schools and talking with students and telling them, listen, there is a better way. So I guess what I want to say is, you know, if I keep pointing the finger at the police, you know, when if I get real honest, let something happen in my house, those are the same people I'm going to call. You know, so, and then again, I'm not saying that there isn't a problem, because there is. So I understand the frustration when people say, you know, the police, you know, because there is a problem that some people feel isn't there, or they don't want to validate, you know. So I definitely get that. But I want to also just say, you know, I got to have a fairness and stop, as Dion said, putting everybody in one category. Because I have my CCW too. And sometimes I get around black people, and I'm looking at them for it. So I can understand where a white officer might do the same. I get around some white people, and I look at them for it. You know, so what I'm saying is, as long as we keep pointing the finger, this problem gets worse. Because I also have that map. And what I see in that map, yes, it's predominantly black areas, but you can also see where there's some white areas also, white population that also have that low or no opportunity. So what I think we fail to see is this problem is growing. And it's growing beyond race. It's not just black people with problems. It's not just black people with low income. It's not just black people. I go to communities and all white communities, and sometimes I'm treated better than lower income white people. So I see that this problem, it's growing. And as long as we continue to look at black, white, we'll never address the real issue. You know, that's just